breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Yo, this video here, I found this video, so I don't need nobody in the comments about clickbait. They're breaking down how they feel Big U could call hits on Black Sam and other people on the street from behind bars because him and his daddy got locked up back in the 70s or something like that, did some time. Listen to this joint. Make sure you follow this. Good content in it and good information that I just learned. If you subscribed, please hit the notification bell while the intro is playing. Please hit the notification bell while the intro is playing. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and subscribe with my daughter's channel, Juanita Mecca Audio. She tells about what it was like growing up for 26 years without her father, from she was 7 till she was 34. You don't want to miss it. Let's keep it moving. All right. All right, you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. This video here is fire. Got a lot of content, a lot of things to react to, a lot of jewels, a lot of game to give. Make sure you hit the notification bell if you're already subscribed, is all I'm asking. And you already know to subscribe. All right.
When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, Luce Canon, 600, and this internet stuff.
See, this is what you call mollifying. Mollifying is when you try and make a wrong right. His wrong is he screwed up getting on YouTube and social media, his damn self being Big U, and now they on his ass, and now he's looking for some way to push the finger. Yes, they contributed, but you're the one that went up there and said, hey, I'm Big U, and you need to check in, and I got a podcast called Checking In. Oh, and I like the way he spelled it, too. I looked at that. All right.
All of y'all filed. Wack said 100 times he was gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI.
I will say, some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right?
See, he's trying to tell Wack that, yo, what you did was put your man on the run. You know what I mean? This is what academics tell me. I like academics too, right? You know, I don't know why I like the guys that y'all don't like. I like them because they give good content. You know what I mean? So I don't judge them for who they are because only God could judge us. But I like academics because he bringing it to Wack, and Wack sitting there, you know he getting ready to go in when he put his hands in his pocket because he's trying to control himself to hold him down while he's talking because, you know, he's real animated and Wack 100. All right.
I think you.
What's that?
I think you tip it off Big U. I think that definitely.
I did what?
I think that they think Big U is about to be on the run. Honestly, why would he be on the run? Wack is on everywhere. Yo, they're coming. End of the month.
Everybody know Big U and Nipsey had an argument, homie. Everybody know Big U was shaking Nipsey Hussle down, making him pay protection fee, sort of.
Look how everybody is just telling this man's business. All of this contributed to that. All his business is out there, but he opened the door when he went up there. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Nipsey Hussle got smart and say, I don't want to pay you $20,000 a month no more, and Nipsey Hussle come up dead. He lost his protection, and the hood killed him. We all know this, homie.
As we all know, Big U is currently behind bars, but his incarceration doesn't necessarily mean the streets are any safer. Among many serious accusations leveled against him is murder, allegedly of Nipsey Hussle, and another name that's come up in his indictment is Rayshawn Williams, his own artist whom he allegedly killed after the man disrespected him.
Now, they saying that it wasn't about the disrespect. I've been seeing on YouTube, right, where they saying that he was in a he cipher, monkey cipher relationship with his son, and that's why he was comfortable enough to wear his son's chain. And I guess, you know, maybe Big U saw it and probably allegedly was like, yo, that ain't no broad. Only a broad's supposed to wear your chain, not no dude. You know what I mean? Nah, I don't mind letting him stay here, but what I give you is not for him. Like, what type of time you two on? You know what I mean? So that's where it's at. Let's see.
If Big U is capable of that, it raises the question, what could he do to the people who's been exposing him or speaking out? The very actions that may have contributed to his imprisonment. There's also
Now they're gonna talk about what you could do from behind bars in order to show that the prosecution is not gonna let him out on bail because he got too much influence and things like that.
So the matter of federal wiretaps. In one intercepted call from 2023, Big U is reportedly heard saying, "Can't no dude beef with me, cause if he do, I'ma kill him, period. I am going to murder him." That chilling statement only
Like you said, that's a statement. They making it like he said it towards somebody, like if I'm beefing with XYZ, I'm gonna kill him. That's not what happened. We're like, where they at with this, for real?
reinforces the allegations surrounding Nipsey and Rayshawn's death. Now,
See, they trying to link him saying that if he beef with anybody, he'll kill him, and then they trying to say that he was beefing with Rayshawn and Nipsey, and he had them whack. This is what they saying.
if you're wondering how he could possibly carry out such acts from behind bars, it's worth remembering back in
Now they're gonna go all the way back to the beginning when he first got locked up, you know, with his father, to show where his childhood started from and where it's going. So, you know, that's where he at. Let's finish playing this.
1991, Big U and his father were arrested in a drug sting, and Big U ended up with a 23-year sentence. Yet even while incarcerated, he was reportedly still running the drug trade within the prison system, something he himself admitted in an interview on The Breakfast Club.
I basically took over the whole little drug trade on the yard.
You see, and they making that like that's a big thing. 95% of the dudes in there have dealt with drugs in one form or fashion while they was in prison. But they making it like, you know, he's this big kingpin, and he's stamping it by saying that he took over the yard because he got money. You see how they could use these things against you like that when you get caught up in something? That's why when you get out, you got to stay out. Get out and stay out. Don't get out and have a foot in and still trying to show that you can make people check in and you get millions from the state, you know, to run this organization for the boys in the football team. Come on, dog. All the way out, y'all.
Because I had money.
Today, Big U remains the top boss of the Rollin' 60s, meaning he likely still holds the power and reach to make things happen on the outside, including eliminating threats.
So that's why they saying they shouldn't let him out of prison on bail. Pay attention to where they're going with this.
So, who's allegedly on Big U's radar right now? First up is Black Sam. Black Sam is Nipsey's brother, and if there's one thing he's been doing, it's speaking up against Big U and his crew. We all know Eric Holder was convicted for Nipsey's murder, but the streets, and especially Black Sam, know that the hit came from someone higher up. One thing Black Sam said during an interview with Big Boy TV was how there was big politics involved with certain people.
But there was a lot of big politics getting into it with certain people.
He even mentioned Nipsey and brought DJ Khaled to the hood, which turned into a major issue. Nipsey had linked up with DJ Khaled and John Legend for the song Higher and planned to shoot the music video in the 60s. But as the story goes, as soon as Big U heard about it, things took a turn. Allegedly, he sent a gang of Rollin' 60s members to press Nipsey about it, but Nipsey, being who he was, stood his ground.
You know, Hussle had DJ Khaled in the hood, and Hussle frontline that. And, you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that.
Black Sam didn't mention Big U by name, but everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. Big U always had a problem with artists coming into the hood without checking in, and Nipsey wasn't trying to play that game.
But still, though, right? Did you just see that dude is sitting here tapping a stack of money? You understand? Can we get this back? He tapping a stack of money, you know, right here. I gotta show
but
this
everyone
again.
knew exactly who he
We're
was
gonna
talking
freeze
about.
this.
Big
They
U
gotta
always
talk
had a
about this.
problem with artists coming into the
Look at
hood
this.
without checking in.
Look at this. He's sitting there with all that money. He tapping the money. You coming in a man's hood, and everybody's hungry, and you coming in loaded like that, flashing like that on Instagram like that, jewels like that. I mean, not wishing bad on nobody, but you got to know that the wolves are out there, man. So I'm telling y'all, if that's what y'all doing, you need to stop it. You see what happened with, you know, Sauce Walker and them over there, and Say So, you know? Come on, dog. You can't floss, you know, on hungry wolves. Because even though they love you, they still got to eat. So don't force them to have to eat you. Come on, let's get it back.
and Nipsey wasn't trying to play that game. Nipsey always had a bigger vision. He wanted to unite the community, bring Bloods and Crips together, and work towards something bigger than gang politics. That's why he worked with YG, an active Blood, to show that unity was possible. But that went against Big U's vision, and it made Nipsey a target.
YG can come to our hood. He's a Blood. He's from Pyro. He can come to the 60s. I can go over there. I've been over there with my jewelry on and my being myself, and they, you know, they respect it. They love it. I was unheard of. You couldn't do that. You know, so it's different right now. Not to say it's like a gang treaty or peace treaty, it's not that, but they know we pushing for the city. Right. So, you know, the streets behind it and they respect it.
Black Sam has always been the type to stand firm against Big U, especially when it comes to defending his brother. One major example was when Nipsey dropped You Don't Got a Clue, a track that many believe was a direct diss at Big U, especially with lines like, I'm busy getting rich, you think I'm going to stop for you? I built this on my own and everybody knows it's true. Still dudes act like they supposed to have control of what I do. As soon as Big U heard the track, he and some of his people allegedly pulled up on Nipsey to confront him, but they didn't just want to check on him, they wanted to discipline him, and in street terms, that meant something serious.
Nipsey dissed, right? And he was like, hey, cuz, is this song about me? So Nipsey stood up or whatever and was like, yeah. So he was drinking some water out of a water bottle and he threw it on Nipsey, right? He was like, we're gonna have to go get down or whatever. So he thought Nipsey was gonna back down. Nipsey stood up and
they supposedly planned to take him away for a DP or disciplinary action, but before things could go any further, Black Sam stepped in. Black Sam stood his ground and told Big U straight up Nipsey wasn't going anywhere with him.
Black Sam said, cuz my brother ain't going nowhere. You was like, in front of the hood or whatever like that. He was like, my brother ain't going nowhere.
Then there was another incident where Big U confronted Nipsey and it turned into a full-blown fight. According to sources, Big U actually got the upper hand and beat Nipsey down, but before things could go any further, Black Sam ran inside, grabbed a pistol, and fired a warning shot in the air to break things up.
Big U knocked Nipsey out. Black Sam comes out, fires 3-4 shots in the air. He's fresh out the penitentiary. Police sitting right across the street, they see it. They come in, they arrest everybody.
And even after his brother was killed by the very same people, Black Sam hasn't changed his stance one bit. In fact, he seems even more fearless, standing on business and protecting Nipsey's legacy at all costs. Wack 100. Next is Wack 100. Wack and Big U used to be real close, but their relationship eventually fell apart, and ever since then, Wack 100 hasn't held back on speaking about Big U. In fact, before Big U turned himself in, one of the people he pointed fingers at was Wack 100, along with Luce Canon and 600. In a video Big U posted, he said, I just want to say this, when they raided my house and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, Luce Canon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all foul.
When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, Luce Canon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all foul.
Big U even went as far as accusing Wack 100 of cooperating with the feds. If you had something against a black man, handle it with a black man in the streets, he said. Wack said 100 times he was going to take my contracts. He was working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row, and they told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. On top of that, Wack 100 also co-signed Luce Canon when Luce was sharing a story about how he spoke to Nipsey just before the shooting. At the time, Luce didn't think much of what Big U had said. He brushed it off.
You don't even warn him that you got that call from dude.
No, because their relationship was so fucked up, it'd be like they be hot 1 minute.
That detail alone suggests Big U may have slipped up by reaching out too soon, right before Nipsey was killed.
And 30 minutes after you get out the phone with Nip, he get killed.
Yeah, I got it.
So you think he hit you a little too early?
Luce Canon.
Do you hear this? See how they lining Big U up for this body? This is crazy.
But that's just part of the story. Luce Canon had straight up accused Big U of backdooring Nipsey on multiple occasions. In fact, during an interview with DJ Academics, Luce gave a wild account of how Meek Mill was allegedly kidnapped and held for ransom by members of the Rollin' 60s on Big U's orders.
I was talking real reckless on Twitter and stuff like that. So
Talking reckless.
Reckless.
Doing it now.
Yeah, so we caught him at the club where he was performing at, and then grabbed Cuz.
When academics asked why Meek security didn't intervene, Luce explained that many LA bodyguards are more loyal to the gangs than to the celebs they're hired to protect. According to him, Rick Ross ended up paying $50,000 to get Meek Mill released.
So he called Rick Ross
And,
right there in the club.
Yeah. And then brought.
Imagine if his cell reception was bad.
That incident supposedly played a role in Meek and Nipsey getting closer. They started using the same PR, and Meek began reaching out to Nipsey, but it also deepened the rift between Nipsey and Big U. Luce Canon is also one of the people caught up in the Big U RICO case. Charleston White. Next up is Charleston White. Known for speaking his mind, Charleston has outright said Big U was the one behind Nipsey's death. According to him, Nipsey refused to keep paying Big U for so-called protection, and that didn't sit well. One theory Charleston pushed is that Nipsey was killed because he stopped playing the extortion game.
Everybody know Big U and Nipsey had an argument, homie. Everybody know Big U was shaking Nipsey Hussle down, making him pay protection fee, sorta. Nipsey Hussle got smart and say, I don't wanna pay you $20,000 a month no more.
Another angle is that Nipsey simply got too big. Even though Big U was a powerhouse in the streets, Nipsey's rise meant all the attention shifted away from Big U, and in gang culture, nobody's allowed to be bigger than the gang, so they had to get rid of him.
Man, Big U wasn't till Nipsey Hussle died. Let me just say that, homie. Wasn't nobody screaming Big U till he had to get the little homie out the way. It was Nip, Nip, Nip. It wasn't you. Big U ain't shit in the hood when Nip come through the hood. The little homies ain't looking at Big U, they looking at Nip, cuz. Yeah, Nip was getting bigger than the set, cuz. And don't nobody get bigger than the set is what I was told. So they killed that nigga.
These are just few of the people who might be on Big U's radar for speaking out, but then there are those who the streets believe Big U already handled, people who crossed him and ended up dead shortly after. Fats. First up is Stephen Giles Fats Donaldson, Nipsey's childhood best friend. He was killed in a drive-by shooting in 2017, and rumor has it, Big U was behind it. Apparently, Fats put hands on Big U after Big U was pressing Nip, and Fats stood up for his friend. Just a week later, Fats was gone. Rayshawn Williams. Then there's Rayshawn Williams. Back in 2021, Big U started a record label called Unique Music and signed up-and-coming rappers from the West Coast. One of them was Rayshawn Williams, but somewhere along the line, things got messy.
Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body.
It's not exactly clear what sparked the tension between them, but what we do know is that Rayshawn ended up dropping a diss track aimed at Big U, and that may have cost him his life.
They do say that part of the investigation involves the murder of another young rapper back in Las Vegas, that he had written something in a song supposedly talking bad about Big U, and that is why he ended up getting murdered.
In the song, Rayshawn called Big U a bro that made some money, basically downplaying his power, and then took it a step further by saying, "This song can get me killed for thinking ish funny." Even crazier, he rapped about getting shot in the face with a .38 revolver that would leave no trace.
Referring to Big U as bro that makes some money, and that unnamed rapper may get shot in the face for thinking that his use of the studio and representation by Unique Music is funny.
5 days after dropping the track, Las Vegas police found his body in a ditch. He had been shot in the face with a revolver, and the cops think Big U is the one who pulled the trigger.
But the track was eerie given what happened next. Just days later, the rapper was shot in the face.
And here's where it gets even darker. Big U had known Rayshawn when he was a kid. He was actually his football coach back in the day, but that history didn't stop him from allegedly setting him up. According to some documents, Big U's label, Unique Music, flew Rayshawn from California to Las Vegas in January 2021. They put him in an Airbnb, and he was supposed to spend the week recording new music at the studio. But when Rayshawn missed one of the sessions, Big U and his right-hand man, Sylvester Robinson, drove out to Vegas to check on him. When they pulled up to the Airbnb, they asked Rayshawn why he didn't go to the studio, and he told him he didn't have a ride. The next day, Rayshawn, Big U, and Sylvester Robinson finally made it to the studio together. No one knows exactly what went down inside, but what we do know is that a few hours later, Rayshawn was dead.
On January 24th of 2021, Big U arrived to a studio and RW was there, recording until around midnight. A little after 12:30 a.m., Big U left the studio and his phone stopped reporting his location.
Surveillance footage caught him going back to the Airbnb at around 1 a.m. He was seen getting out of the car, grabbing his suitcase, and then hopping back in. He was supposed to stay in Vegas for another day, but Big U allegedly had other plans. According to investigators, Big U drove him out to the desert, shot him in the face, and then went right back to the studio like nothing happened.
About 45 minutes later, surveillance video at the Airbnb showed RW exiting the passenger side of the car and entering the Airbnb. A few minutes later, he left the Airbnb with a suitcase, got back into the car, and left. RW wasn't seen again. He wasn't even supposed to leave Vegas until the next day, but he never returned to the Airbnb. Instead, his body was found on the side of the road near Interstate 15.
A witness later told cops that Big U showed back up at the studio at around 3 a.m., looking drenched in either sweat or water. When they asked him what happened, he told them he had just come back from the gym, but a few hours later, cops found Rayshawn's body dumped in a ditch, and Big U didn't stop there. According to the indictment, he tried to cover his tracks. He allegedly took recording equipment out of the studio after the murder and told someone to get rid of the surveillance footage from that night. Investigators also believe there was some kind of fight at the studio before Rayshawn got killed, which is why Big U wanted the video gone.
Witnesses told detectives an associate of Big U removed the video recording equipment from the studio a few days after the homicide, including video that would have shown RW and Big U at the studio before he was murdered.
After Rayshawn's death, Big U knew the heat was coming, so he allegedly had one of his homies drive his car and stay at his house. That way, if the cops pulled over the car or showed up at the crib, it would buy him some time to escape before they actually caught him. Nobody really knows the exact reason Big U allegedly killed Rayshawn, but this murder is what put him on the FBI's radar. Just a month after Rayshawn's death, the feds officially launched an investigation into Big U's enterprise. Nipsey Hussle. And then there's Nipsey Hussle. Big U and Nipsey Hussle weren't always at odds. In fact, at one point, they were actually close business partners. The relationship goes back to 2007 when Nipsey signed with Epic Records in preparation for what was supposed to be his debut studio album, South Central State of Mind. The real breaking point was Nipsey wanting to cut ties with Big U's label. Allegedly, Nipsey felt trapped in a shady deal, one where he believed he was being extorted by Big U. But if you ask Big U, he has a different version of events. According to him, the conflict actually started when he stepped away from the music industry. During that time, Nipsey had possession of Big U's recording equipment, and when Big U wanted it back, Nipsey wasn't too happy about it. Eventually, Big U was able to recover his equipment, but that situation alone led to some serious friction between the two. From there, things just continued to spiral. Nipsey reportedly took offense to how Big U handled the situation, and their relationship started to shift. Then came You Don't Got a Clue, a track that many believe was a direct diss aimed at Big U. But the tension between them didn't just stop at music and business. Their family ties added even more fuel to the fire. Nipsey's first baby mother was actually Big U's niece, and during that time, things between Nipsey and her weren't great. Nipsey didn't approve of the company she kept around their daughter. Allegedly, there were guns, drugs, and alcohol present, and Nipsey wasn't going to stand for it. One incident in particular escalated things further. Nipsey reportedly went over to his baby mother's house alone and ended up pistol whipping a guy she was involved with. The altercation got ugly, and the man was beaten so badly that he had to be taken to the hospital. In the chaos, it was said that his baby mother might have been hurt as well. Once Big U caught wind of what happened, he immediately pulled up to Nipsey's store to confront him. Heated words were exchanged, and things quickly turned physical. According to sources, Big U beat Nipsey down, which led to Black Sam running inside to grab a pistol. In an attempt to break things up, Black Sam fired a warning shot in the air, but that only made things worse. Within moments, LAPD swarmed the scene. When the police arrived, they saw Black Sam with a gun still in his hand, and without hesitation, they opened fire on him. Miraculously, not a single bullet hit him. Instead of being killed, he was arrested on the spot, along with Nipsey and Big U. The three of them were taken to the 77th Street Division, but they all managed to bail out the next morning. Despite all the tension, Nipsey continued to rise in the music industry. In 2011, he started collaborating with YG, and that came with its own set of problems. At the time, it was not common to see Pyrus hanging out in 60s territory, but Nipsey wasn't one to follow outdated politics. When they filmed the Girls Ain't Ish video, Nipsey invited YG to the 60s, and that did not sit right with Big U. He made it known that he disapproved, and Nipsey had to defend his decision. He ended up fighting multiple Rollin' 60s members just to have YG there. That respect was mutual. YG later invited Nipsey into Treetop Pyru territory for another video shoot, and the two built a strong friendship from there. Over time, Nipsey's career skyrocketed. He went from being an underground street rapper to a Grammy-nominated artist. But even with all the success, the issues with Big U were still lurking in the background. At times, it seemed like things between them were cooling down. They would be on decent terms for brief moments, but there was always tension under the surface.
He really exudes everything that you need to exercise in business.
And on top of that, Big U had gained a reputation for allegedly extorting artists who wanted to come into 60s territory. According to rumors, any rapper or big-name artist looking to step foot in the neighborhood had to check in and pay a tax to Big U if they wanted to move around without any problems. Then came early 2019. He had linked up with DJ Khaled and John Legend for the song Higher and planned to shoot the music video in the 60s. But as soon as Big U heard about it, things took a turn. Allegedly, he sent a gang of Rollin' 60s members to press Nipsey about it. Nipsey stood his ground, but the pressure was overwhelming. In the end, he was forced to relocate the entire video shoot to the top of a parking structure in Inglewood. Security had to be beefed up as well because Nipsey was receiving death threats, supposedly from the Inglewood families, a dominant.
Could you believe this is what's going on out there? You got all this money, you got all these people. I let it ride because I feel that it was a great program, and I want to give them their props. That was Trap Pulse. You know, that was a great video, man. It was real informative. I learned a lot more about it to help me with my content creating with it. And, you know, this is what we do. We have to work together, man. We have to work together, you know. But make sure you subscribe to my daughter's YouTube channel, Juanita Mecca Audio. She speaks about what it's like to grow up without her father for 26 years that's serving time in federal prison. And she shares a lot of her emotions. Go check that out, JUANITA. Let's keep it moving. Mecca Audio. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops. Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be whoring uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours, so we can give back to the.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.